Welcome back, everybody. I don't know how many parts we've done, but we have a handful of Black CFPs that we've had on as guests. And today, Romy Pickron is on, now a female Black CFP. We haven't had one of them in quite a time. So this is going to be interesting and fun as well. So, Romy, why don't you give us your background, where you're from, highlight all of that, and then kind of how you became a Black CFP and where you're at in your career.
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much for having me today. It is a pleasure to be here with you all. So I have been taking up this space for just a little over 10 years now. I started my career with Fidelity Investments. And, that was really just the opportunity of a lifetime for me because initially I did not see myself in a career in finance. I did not see myself initially as a certified financial planner. And that's because I really wanted to be a news anchor. Like that was my dream while I was studying at the University of Texas in Arlington. I wanted to be a news anchor. So I was like on the radio show, and that was like my passion. But while I was working and attending the University of Texas at Arlington, I was actually working at the bank full time while attending the university. So at the bank, I got like a firsthand look at um, really my introduction to millionaires, people who had, all this wealth, who had accumulated wealth. So it was inspirational and motivational to me. And so after I graduated, I started my career with Fidelity Investments, and I still knew nothing about stocks because banking and investing, those are two different worlds, right? And so I still knew nothing about investing when I started my career with Fidelity Investments. So I was like thrown in. I was thrown into the fire with people who were calling in to place trades, like option trades. Um,
Just like,
people who were,
woo.
yeah, people who were doing like really complicated investing, but it was actually good for me because I'm a quick learner. I like to learn. I'm quick on my feet. So, when I would get those calls, I would just be Googling stuff and, trying to tap into all my resources also at Fidelity. So it's interesting because as I mentioned, I did not initially think that I would be a financial planner, but luckily through working with Fidelity, I was able to be introduced to a portfolio manager, and she happened to be a woman. And she was a certified financial planner. And it really piqued my interest because throughout that time, while working at Fidelity, I was one of the only Black women, there who had a Series 7, and that's a license to trade stocks. So I did not have many examples in the office to aspire to. So one day I saw this woman, and she was a portfolio manager, certified financial planner, and she gave a presentation at Fidelity, and that piqued my interest into becoming a certified financial planner.
And then, so after Fidelity, how long were you at Fidelity?
I was at Fidelity for about, I want to say about 4 years. four
Then what?
years, and
Then
then
where'd
I
you go?
tr- and then I transitioned over to Wells Fargo Advisors. And so from there, I really started to think about pursuing the CFP seriously because I saw one woman, an African American woman, on the cover of Financial Advisor magazine, and she's the certified financial planner. And I remember receiving that magazine and just being like, I have to do this. I can do this. I
Right.
will do this. And that was really like the final catalyst for me to pursue the CFP because initially, after I saw the woman portfolio manager at Fidelity, that piqued my interest. But because I didn't see many examples of us in that position, I still wasn't 100% sure that it was something that I could even do.
Right.
So it took a few years for it to like fester and build. And then I received that magazine, Financial Advisor magazine, with a Black woman certified financial planner on it. And that was it. I just knew I had to pursue it. And that led to me actually finding the Association of African American Financial Advisors, which we're part of that amazing organization who supports Black certified financial planners. So that led to me finding that organization who provided me with the scholarship to pursue the CFP designation.
Absolutely. And where were you born and raised?
So I was born in a small town outside of Dallas, Texas. It's called Kaufman, Texas.
Okay. And
Mhm.
I wanted to highlight that for a few reasons. You said
Yeah,
that you didn't see people like us in this industry, right? Top to bottom,
right.
male, female doesn't really matter. There's just not a lot. And when you did see someone successful is what triggered you to say, "Hey, I can actually do this." Even though you're in the
Yes.
career, you could actually do that. What is it about wherever you're raised or born and not being able to see that? Do you think that at that age when you were younger would have transitioned to what you wanted to be, instead of, an anchor, maybe a financial planner early on? Do you think that would have done anything? Or is it because you were a little bit older and could see things a little differently that that's what transpired?
That's a great question. I definitely believe if I would have had more exposure at a younger age to different types of professionals, then I would have possibly pursued a different profession. One thing about me is that I've always been someone who saved my money. Like I was always that kid who would get my allowance and just save it instead of going out to eat and going to like McDonald's while we were younger. I would save my money and I would like eat leftovers or eat whatever my mom cooked. And that is just, that's just who I was. I would just save my money growing up. So it was like, it was something always within me that knew like that I would become a certified financial planner. And so back to your question, yes, I do believe more exposure to different professionals would have heightened the chances that, that I would have considered a different career sooner. Luckily for me, my mother was a professional, so I had her to look up to. I had different people in my community and so forth to look up to. But as far as like people in the financial planning profession, no, I didn't get that exposure until college while working at the bank. And I'm really grateful for that because that shaped, who I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about today. Where are you at? What you doing now?
Well, I recently launched my firm, Asset Achievers. And
Woo!
so, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a dream come true for me. As we talked about, coming from a small town and just growing up and having these big dreams of, just doing something amazing with my life. So for me, Asset Achievers, my firm, our mission is to ensure that more people like us, more women, and more people of color join the movement of becoming generation wealth builders. We just have so many things to look forward to. We're earning more money than we've ever earned, we're getting more educated. So it's time for us to really take those things into account and take our finances to the next level. So that's where I am with my firm, Asset Achievers. We cater to women and people of color because we're really looking to help us just take our finances to the next level.
And what are some of the services or main services that you work with or do?
Yes, thank you. So, one of the things that differentiates us and Asset Achievers from other firms is that we work with people not based on an asset level. So, you don't have to have a minimum amount of assets to work with us, like most firms. Yeah,
Let's
most
get it.
firms, yes, you have to have a high minimum, like 50,000 and $100,000 to work with them. With us, you do not. Really, all you need is the determination, and we're ready to go. So that's one thing that separates us from the other firms. You do not have to have a minimum to work with us. And another key thing that separates us is that we do not charge any commission. So there's no commissions to work with us like other firms. And we do not work with by charging you a percentage of your assets that we manage. So we only charge you a flat fee. So that's key because traditionally, most firms would charge you a percentage of the assets that they manage for you. And so we don't do that. We charge you a flat fee, and that makes it easier for more people to come in and get assistance with their finances.
Absolutely. I love it. And when did it officially launch? I know, like, no, let me back up. Let me back up before that question. When did you decide that you're going to open up your own firm? And then walk us through a little bit about that process up to your actual launch date. Because I think it's important for,
Yeah.
we did one on our other series about like the struggles of actually having a firm and being a planner. Like it's real. Like it's just not easy. Things aren't happening. So why don't you walk us through what made you decide, and then when you decided, kind of how you got to launch time?
Well, last year is when I decided. So 2021. So throughout the pandemic, the thought had been, like festering, because throughout this time I was working on the CFP designation. So I just got the designation last year in July of 2021.
Yeah.
I just got the designation. And so I was working for Wells Fargo advisors throughout the pandemic. And after I received the designation, I knew that, okay, my value just went way up with having this designation, especially because for you and I, there's only 2% of Black certified financial planners within the US. So I knew immediately, like, either I am going to get a huge raise at my current company, or I am going to leave and go to a new company and still get a huge raise, or I'm going to start my own firm. And so, luckily, being exposed to the professionals, experts at the Association of African American Financial Advisors, it's just so much inspiration with that organization and seeing so many successful entrepreneurs. So that thought had been, just in the back of my mind, like, okay, I could do this and I could do things differently, because while working in the financial industry and wealth management, a lot of times I found myself thinking like, how can I help those who look like me? How can I help the younger generation? How can I help millennials? Because as I mentioned before, a lot of us, we're earning the money, we're earning six figures, but we don't know where to go to for assistance with our finances. We don't necessarily trust, I guess we would say, these professionals who've been designated to help us based on a lot of different things that's happened within the financial industry. So with our finances, that's something that's a real personal topic. You want to go to someone who you can relate to, someone who may look like you, and someone who may even think like you in some form of fashion. So that's always been something that I've considered, like, how can I help more people who look like me, the younger generation, people who want the help with their finances. They're earning the money, but they don't necessarily know who to go to.
Right. And would you say, obviously, big proponent in legacy wealth here as well, but would you say the reason for, I guess, the lack of them reaching out to either us or others is the fact because they are first generational wealth? Like they are the ones building it, and they don't have the long history of education and support from their family. So money and you being the first one, you're a little more closer to the chest. You want more control because you have no experience with, with building some type of, I guess, legacy that could be out forever. Do you believe, like, because they're the first generation to do so in most households? I am. I can say that.
Same here.
And so I'm speaking from a little experience, but is that your belief as well? Is because we are actually doing it, so it's really hard to, like, go back and be like, yeah, no, my mom and dad, we did that. So I'm comfortable. And they're all super uncomfortable. And that's why it's harder to break through. Do you believe that?
Yes, I do believe that that plays a big part of it. And again, that's why I started my firm Asset Achievers, because I'm reaching back to other first generation wealth builders like ourselves to say, hey, look, we did it, you can do it. And we'll show you step by step exactly how you can do it.
What in that realm, like I always ask this question. Some people answer it, some don't, but um of your book of business, how many clients are black? Not of color, just literally just black people that are your clients.
At this moment, 100% of them.
Nice. Nice. So usually
100%.
you're the first one to ever say 100%. Like for me, it's maybe 5 to 10 on average. I'm
Mhm.
getting around 10s to 15s to 20s. um and one, probably because the background, where your firm came from and stuff like that helps. But
Mhm.
what do you believe is the biggest obstacle to growing that book of business?
One of the biggest obstacles is something that you initially mentioned about being a first generation wealth builder. We have built this wealth, and we're almost not almost, but we're afraid. We're afraid of the possibility of losing it. We're afraid of the possibility of putting it in the wrong hands, and that makes sense. It's an understandable fear. However, in order to grow your wealth, you do have to move it past that savings account. You just have to do something different. And especially if growing wealth is not an area of your expertise, it's best that you allow a professional to help you in that area. So I do believe the biggest obstacle is based on fear.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's whether it's fear driven from their own, but a lot of it's societal, a lot of it's marketing. Even giant wirehouses and firms and stuff like that, their marketing is fear based, really, right? We say risk all the time, risk tolerance. This is risky. That's not risky. And I've been seeing a lot lately on Fin Twitter about what is true risk, right? What
Mhm.
is absolute risk? Well, the risk is what keeps you up at night. If that decision or that investment or whatever it is the thing that keeps you up at night, makes you want to vomit and you're sweating, yeah, that's a little too much risk. If it's something you can make a decision on and you're good and you're happy, then that's a comfortable risk. Like, that's to
Right.
me what true risk is. And whether you're first gen wealth builders or 100th gen wealth builders, at some point you have to take on what the market says additional risk. But I just say you have to go to uncomfortable places to
Mhm.
grow yourself mentally in your money mindset. Like, that's
Yes.
usually what's stopping everyone, right? It costs too much. It might go to zero. I don't know how it works 100%, right? All of those things are all very pride and very internal fears, as
Mhm.
opposed to, hey, I know historically that real estate or that having a professional in my court will only pay dividends over time.
Yes.
I'm okay with paying their fee, right? And I
Mhm.
believe in our society, in our culture, it's that's money out the door. I can do it myself. And yes, there are people out there that can do it themselves. We have the service available for that. They still need support. No one can do life without a team. I don't care if you're learning from someone on YouTube or if you actually have a professional, someone's there that you're relying on.
Right.
And it's vitally important for you to get over the mindset of that risk piece, right? It's not even really risk. It's just that's how you build wealth. It's the
Yeah.
next step. Uh,
Yes.
where have you found is best to get someone to go from that savings account
Mhm.
to that next step, whatever that next step may be? But what have you found is most successful to get them to do that next step?
That's a great question. And that's something else that differentiates me and my firm and Asset Achievers. I find that education is so important and so crucial, because a lot of the people that we've that we work with, again, first generation wealth builders. So you already have this fear that, okay, I could lose everything that I've worked so hard for. You know, I've made it to this level, the highest level that anyone in my family and friend circle has ever achieved. So I don't want to lose what I've worked for. And that's completely understandable. But I find that with education, by leading with education and really breaking down these financial topics that seem, you know, so complex to the ordinary person, because financial literacy is just not taught in the US school system. I believe it's about 25 to 26 states that require financial literacy to be taught in high school. And so we have about 50% of the US population that's financially illiterate. So you have this huge gap. So we're missing that education piece. People need to be educated. They need to be educated starting from the bottom all the way up. So that's what I find that's really helpful, and really just sharing that understanding so people can feel empowered about the decisions that they're making going forward.
Which is why we do these. We're loud and get true
Yes.
education out there, because there is and I'm a huge proponent of, people need to get education from professionals that are regulated, prefer CFPs, but at least that are
Yes.
regulated within our industry. Yes, there's great people out there with a lot of knowledge, that are former planners or whatever, that are coaches. Agree with them as well, but we got to get away from these Reddits, these AMCs, these GameStop type education,
Yes.
because it hurts people. Ultimately, it hurts them.
Mm.
And a lot of people are like, well, you're a CFP, so you have to say that, and that's how you make money. Yeah, true. Facts. That's how, we make a living for my own family. However, it's more about you, because what we say, we have to say in a certain way that is the truth. Otherwise, we lose our license. We lose the way we make money, because we are
Mm-hmm.
regulated. Being heavily
Yes.
regulated means that we can't say certain things. I can't guarantee you 12% return on your plan. Can't say it, right? And those others can say and do whatever they want for a marketing scheme to get you to pay $4.99 a month to follow them, or whatever it is. And I wanted to highlight that fact of, follow us, reach out, ask us questions. We're here to educate you as much as we can, right? And that's
Yes.
where I said earlier about our industry and us being louder, is we need to be louder than everything else out there. We know we can be. We can't be afraid of compliance. I've got really big compliance attorney bills, because I want to push as far as we can and get everyone out there the education they can. If we sit back and just say, well, I don't want to, I don't want to push the envelope with compliance, or I don't know if I can say that or not, so I won't do a podcast or a blog or whatever, then are we really doing what's best for our prospective clients, or just our society? I don't really think so. So what's your next big initiative? Obviously launching, getting clients, but what's your next big thing that you want to accomplish, or have you thought about that yet?
Yes, I have definitely thought about it. So this week is a big week for me. I'm actually launching a new website starting,
Ah,
I'm launching it on this Friday. So I'm really excited about that. And at the same time, I have a secondary business. So I am the co-founder of another business called Reducify. And this business started because my spouse and I, we paid off $130,000 in student loan debt within 2.5 years. So let me just give you some perspective on that. It takes the average borrower, student loan borrower, 20 years on the low end and 40 years on the high end to pay off student debt. So we're talking about like a mortgage here. Like this is like a bid that people are people are taking the time to pay off their student debt. So I'm the co-founder of this business, and where we help to accelerate student debt payoff. So that is the next big thing for me. And I'm really excited that it's still finance. So it goes hand in hand with asset achievers, because once you pay off your student debt, then you can start building, really start to build your wealth and attain those assets. So that's the next big thing for me. And I'm so excited because I have gotten a lot of positive responses for that. This year, I won a pitch competition, well, second place in a pitch competition with Howard University, HU pitch competition. And so I am looking forward to building upon that business as well as Asset Achievers. So all in all, I am helping people just get their money together.
Love it. I love it. And launching a website, hey, that's fun. We just relaunched ours on August 1st. So
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's always fun putting those things together. So
Yes.
applauds there. Applauds there.
Thank you.
One final bigger, I guess, question that I always ask in this first go around. We have multiple firms too. I own 5 firms. No, I own 4, help run a 5th, right? And it has everything to do with money, from a CPA firm, commercial real estate, hedge fund, etc. Right? We don't need to get in about me, but the reason we did it is kind of like you. We did it for people. We did it for ourselves. The only thing it does is build wealth, continuously building wealth for everyone, right?
Yes.
And we partner with advisors and planners across the country to enhance what they're doing, because not everyone wants to do all those things, but also they just don't know who to go to. So we're a trusted place on that. So what I'm getting to, and you'll find this out with launching your new firm, of why in our industry do people not partner together more, right? Like, we're experts in what we do. I'm not expert at student loans. I know enough that I can do things and make good decisions, but I don't live in that lane every day, right? You do, right? You live it. Real estate. I don't know if you do real estate, but we're, really heavy on real estate. Why do you think in our industry that planners don't partner together more to achieve better outcomes for their clients?
I really think it boils down to a lack of the unknown. Like, what you can accomplish by yourself, but partnering with someone else, you have to really consider so many things, because when you partner with someone, it's almost like a marriage. Like, it's a full on commitment. So it's really boils down to a fear of the unknown. You don't know what to expect. There's no blueprint in partnering with someone. There's not even a blueprint for entrepreneurship, depending on the direction that you decide to go. But again, that boils down to, at least what you're capable of. But you just don't know what someone else could do, and how they may, decide to run their business. So I believe if there was a bit more exposure, and more talk about it, like you said, let's get loud. Let's talk about how we can partner together. Let's talk about the benefits that we may be able to offer to one another. I think that exposure would be very helpful.
So to come full circle, we're saying that there's first generational wealth people out there, right? Like me, you.
Mm-hmm.
RIAs and launching of firms independently is kind of in that first generational phase as well. So what you're saying is we're all one and the same, right? First generational wealth needs to take that leap and educate, and they need to do that to grow bigger. And we're also saying that for us as first generational firms, we also need to be exposed. And if we really want to grow and help everyone, is to partner or at least team up with others who are experts in different fields. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for all our listeners, clients, prospective clients, doesn't matter who you're out there, we're in the same situations, whether it's building our own wealth or building our own firms. We're all needing to continue to grow, trust others, and get educated, because everyone says it takes a village, right? Well, it does. And you need to find those people. And I think personally, we look for them all over the nation. Now, we have a lot more people that we know in Dallas for some reason, but outside of that, right, it needs to be nationwide. It needs to go international. You need to get away from just your little neighborhood or if you live in a little city, and that's what, Des Moines is. It's little compared to the big ones out there. You need to branch out and you need to learn, and we're here to do what we can for clients. So appreciate having you on. Check out Asset Achievers, new website launching August. Let me actually put the date out there. August 26th.
Is that, yes, the
That's Friday,
26th on
right?
Friday. Yep,
Well,
yes.
that's going to go live. Check it out. If this comes out, that part comes out a little later, go back and check it out. It don't matter. The website's going to be live. And give her feedback. That's what we ask for too. Go to the website, give us feedback. We want to improve. We want to be able to reach out and help educate you as much as possible. But I appreciate you. Do you have any final thoughts, comments?
I just want to encourage the listeners really to consider taking your finances seriously. You know, we take care of our health. When we have health needs, we go see a doctor. When we have any other needs, we go see a professional. With your finances, go see a professional. That's how you're going to grow your wealth. And we are here to help you. So reach out with any questions that you may have. No question is a dumb question. I get that all the time from my clients because a lot of us, we're high achievers, you know, we have these degrees and we're experts in whatever area it may be. So there's this like embarrassment to ask questions regarding to finances because, you know, it's just not a topic that's so, I guess, well known. But no question is a dumb question. Reach out to us. We are very accessible. We would be happy to help with any questions that you may have. And we're here for you ultimately.
Amen to that. Amen. And like always, we'll have all her tags and websites and socials in the description below. Also, we'll post it when we do this. So like, share, comment, please comment. We love comments. We love being able to talk to everyone. So make sure to do that. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
The preceding program was sponsored by Black Mammoth. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Black Mammoth. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Black Mammoth website, www.blackmammoth.com. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions and securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice due to various factors, including changing market conditions. The information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up-to-date, Black Mammoth do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature and is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results.